Long before it became accepted by mainstream science, some visionary scientists already had established a causal relationship between human industrial activity and climate change, with the associated disruption of fragile weather systems, resulting in storms and flooding likely to increase both in potency and frequency. Central power generation being capable to become a strategic target in times of war and social upheaval, both, virtually, with cyber attacks and in reality with missiles or air raids. Decentral energy environments in the absence of above-ground infrastructure would be devoid of targets. Chemical energy carriers like hydrogen can be stored securely in depleted gas fields or salt deposits. As recent events in Europe obviated, civilian infrastructure no longer being exempt from attack. In the light of this, it is multifariously indicated to switch in a foreseeable future from a central grid energy environment to a decentral one with a parallel transition from electromagnetic to chemical energy carriers. Methane in the first instance, and, at the earliest occasion, hydrogen. Both gases are capable to generate heat and current in domestic, stationary fuel cells with or without carbon reformers. Contrary to heat pumps, fuel cells operate silently and contain no mechanical components, hence being maintenance-free. They possess the highest conversion rate with over 60% of efficiency while emitting no nitric oxides or other atmospheric contaminants. The existing, weather-insensitive underground distribution network for natural gas can be converted in a hydrogen network overnight in the same manner it switched from distributing coal gas to natural gas, half a century ago. Large consumers of electricity like heavy industry should be encouraged to co-generate their own electricity. The highly weather-sensitive high-voltage power lines became obsolete. Electricity and moisture make bad companions. The expected increasingly high wind speeds compromise grid-necessitated power lines, which are sources of electromagnetic pollution constituting a health hazard in the vicinity of habitations. Conversions and transmissions of electromagnetic energy are loss-incurring, especially over long distances. Central power generation being a 19th century legacy brought about by developments such as the industrial alternator by Belgian Zenobe Graham, enabling the generation of unlimited amounts of power in a central place. Stationary fuel cells with carbon reformer, capable to filter out the adulterating carbon atom from the methane molecule before introducing the remaining hydrogen atoms in the fuel cell, where they fuse with ambient oxygen atoms forming water molecules while exiting electrons and emitting heat, are already available in the US and Europe. Collective, neighborhood fuel cells could be contemplated in an initial stage to offset the high cost for individual households. This would still conform with decentral energy generation. Nuclear power could still play a part in hydrogen manufacture. New types of nuclear reactor employing more efficient thermochemical hydrogen production methods as opposed to the inefficient electrolytic procedures requiring electricity. Contrary to the former ones, they can operate as freestanding units at remote locations far from inhabited regions without the necessity of physical links to eventual power consumers. The same principle applies for solar hydrogen generation, also requiring types of solar collector fundamentally different from photovoltaic ones, being more akin to the earliest types of solar energy collectors such as the one conceived by the father of modern chemistry, Antoine Lavoisier, over 2 centuries ago. Zero electricity concepts could generally become normative in the future climate-induced energy environment. The only appliance Albert Einstein ever patented was already an everlasting zero current concept, containing no electric motor or moving parts. The devastating effects of increasingly violent and frequent climatic events will be soon upon us, but present-day infrastructural investments ignore this new reality, continuing on the usual path of constructing above-ground facilities open to the full force of the elements, certain to become the subject of multiple disruptions of power. Renards Conrad. Antwerp.